Which alternates are up for the compliance, for the,
I think we made Commissioner Collins, so it would be the two of these gentlemen here.
okay. Ready when you are. Okay. Good evening. I'll call to order this Plan and Zoning Commission special meeting of July 15th. Just before I get into the agenda, I have to share, for those who haven't already heard, the tremendously sad news that our first selectman, Bill Gerber, passed away this afternoon. Normally, I would have written a tribute befitting a person like Bill, and learned about this terrible news just a few minutes before leaving for here. So I'll just say a few words from the heart. Bill was such a genuinely kind man. You know, really one of the as good a guy as you could ever hope to meet. I think like so many people in this town, got to know Bill personally through public service, and I could not believe the dedication he had to this town, the compassion he had for the people in it, the curiosity and desire to get to know the people in it. Just a great public servant, a great person. His loss is a huge one, not just for his family and those who loved him, but for the town. I think, the town will be worse off for him not being in it, but better for the mark that he's left on it over decades of public service. I think it's so unfair that he was taken so early after he and his family have had to go through so much. And I really just send all our thoughts and prayers and condolences to his wife, Jessica, and their family, and everyone who loved Bill. And I know we'll all be thinking of him in this really difficult time. If anyone else has anything they want to say, feel free.
I just want to say that I got to know Bill several years ago during charter revision. And I was always impressed with his analytical skills and his sense of humor and his sort of wry observations, which continued till this day. He was a source of comfort to me when my father died a couple of years ago. And he just loved telling little funny anecdotes, and he was truly, genuinely interested in the people of our town. And he was a kind man, a good good administrator, and he was interested in the environment. I saw him on Earth Day, and he wanted to implement a program that had to do with making better things to do with dark skies. So hopefully we can follow up on that, but he will be greatly missed, a very good man in our town.
Joe, go.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure to work with Bill on the RTM for 2.5 terms. I echo the comments from Commissioner Braun. Extremely intelligent man, tried to be as bipartisan as possible. And he's hardworking, and he will be missed. Hopefully his legacy. Thank you.
May I?
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for those words. Some of you may know, my mom has been very ill for the last 4 or 5 months. And I was actually at the hospital with her yesterday, and she asked me, how is Bill doing? He's such a good man, and I'm so sorry that he's sick. So he probably doesn't know, but he's touched so many lives, and people know him as a good human being who loved our town. A month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I was at a Mill River Wetland Committee event, and he spoke about Joy Shaw, the founder of Mill River, and he read this beautiful poem. I forget who wrote it, but he was just so enthusiastic and had this unabashed love for Fairfield and service. And as others had said, he was just a curious person who just wanted to learn and do the best job he could. Um, I'm so sorry that he's no longer with us, and I'm so sorry that our town won't have his leadership any longer, but we have his legacy, and his memory will be a blessing, I believe, to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. So, unless anyone else,
Yeah, you guys know I'm not often at a loss for words, but this time I am. Bill was a good friend, and he inspired me to run for office. He had a great passion and love for this town, and I'm gonna really miss him. And thank you for your kind words.
so, if we could just take a moment of silence to remember Bill. Thank you. And as Alexis pointed out to me earlier, I think being the public servant he was, he would want us to continue the business of the town. So Bill, we'll miss you, and we'll do that in your memory tonight. So moving on to our administrative session, starting with old business. I'll call the first three items together. Zoning regulation amendment, application of attorney Stephen Bellis on behalf of contract purchasers 108 Biro LLC to create a new section 5.3 for a Biro development district. 108 Biro Street zone change application of attorney Stephen Bellis on behalf of contract purchasers 108 Biro LLC to establish a Biro development district on land presently zoned residency. And 108 Biro Street zoning compliance application of attorney Stephen Bellis on behalf of contract purchasers 108 Biro LLC pertaining to a new 100-unit residential development pursuant to section 830 F of the 30G, the Connecticut General Statutes Residency Zone. And speaking with commissioners today, it sounds like given the volume of the material that we have to go through in the hearings, folks can use some extra time on this. We have until September 18th to make a decision. I don't anticipate we will take that long, but rather than asking folks to keep coming back 1 week at a time and tabling this at each meeting, I'm going to ask for a motion to table this to August 19th. This is an item that I have to chair because our regular chair has recused himself, and I will be out of town on August 12th. So I will ask for a motion to table until August 19th.
I'll make a motion.
You, Commissioner Harrison, do I have a second? Commissioner Levy seconds. Commissioner Harrison, anything else to add?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Okay, can we put this to a vote? All those in favor of the motion to table items 1A, B, and C to August 19th, please say aye or raise your hands.
Bye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will call the next two items together. Zoning regulation amendment, application of 1477 Congress Street LLC to establish a new 5.4, section 5.4 Congress Street Affordable Housing District pursuant to section 830G of the CT General Statutes. 1477 Congress Street zone change application of 1477 Congress Street LLC to establish a Congress Street affordable housing district on land presently zoned residence at AAA. And again, I think this is another one. We just concluded this hearing. The commission, I know, could use some additional time to review the evidence and hearing logs. So can I have a motion to table this item to August 9th?
Yes, I'll make a motion. Sorry.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrison. Deadline. Have a second. Commissioner Braun, so anything further, Commissioner Harrison?
No, thank you.
No. Comments, questions? Right, can we put this to a vote? All those in favor of the motion to table these two items to August 19th, please say aye or raise your hands. Aye. Commissioner Harrison, you're an aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Next item, the next two items rather, 4180 Black Rock Turnpike, zone change application of 4180 Black Rock Turnpike LLC to establish a design commercial district on land presently zoned residence AAA. And 4180 Black Rock Turnpike site plan review application of 4180 Black Rock Turnpike LLC to allow for a parking lot expansion for an existing hotel and restaurant use in a residence AAA zone. Ms. Harrigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 4180 Black Rock Turnpike. This development proposal includes two components that require their own deliberation and vote. However, both applications are intertwined and will be generally summarized together. The existing Hi-Ho Hotel, Barcelona restaurant site frontage is located in the design commercial district. Portions of the site behind the hotel and to the west of the hotel building are located in the residential AAA zone. The applicant requests a zone map change to a portion of the site in order to expand their on-site parking lot by 38 spaces. The zone change is necessary as Fairfield's residential zoning districts do not permit the construction of parking lots for adjacent commercial uses. However, the construction of a new parking lot expansion for an existing use is permitted within the town's commercial districts by special permit. The standard considerations for a zone change are as follows. One, is the proposal consistent with the plan of conservation and development? Two, does time, experience, and responsible planning for contemporary or future conditions reasonably indicate the need for the proposed zone change? Three, have circumstances in the neighborhood changed substantially to warrant the requested zone change? Four, has it been demonstrated that the proposal is warranted and would serve the general health, welfare, and safety of the town? Five, does the proposed zone change promote a level of development that would serve to protect property values in the neighborhood and enhance the community and accomplish a transition in character between areas of unlike character? Six, would the proposed zone change permit a level of development that would increase undue traffic congestion? In regards to this special permit, subject to a special permit approval, the DCD zone allows for parking lot expansion. There are not changes to the proposed building or operations for the uses, hotel, restaurant, liquor store on site. Fill is required to install the additional parking, so a retaining wall will be constructed with a safety railing as the site drops down to the Cricker Brook to the rear. However, the area where the parking lot is proposed is not located in a FEMA flood zone and does not have compensatory storage or equal conveyance requirements. The applicant's experts have indicated that the Inland Wetlands Agency granted approval of the project on December 4th, 2024, which requires invasive species removal, native plantings, soil erosion and sedimentation controls, and a site monitor during the construction phase with ongoing reporting to the Conservation Department. The landscape plan required by the Inland Wetlands Agency also requires an existing tree assessment by an arborist, and the lighting needs to meet dark sky compliance requirements to limit adverse impacts to wildlife. The stormwater system was reviewed as part of the wetlands permit by the engineering department and meets town requirements for detention and water quality. There were several neighbor comments in the file that were general in nature and largely in response to the other development proposals in the area for the proposed 830G projects. A neighbor testified in public with concerns about trash, which the applicant responded to in regards to dumpster relocation, which they believe will alleviate concerns. The considerations for the special permit are found in section 25.7.7. Is the development shown on the site and architectural plans of such character as to harmonize with the neighborhood, to accomplish a transition in character between areas of unlike character, to protect property values in the neighborhood, to preserve and enhance the appearance and beauty of the community, and to avoid undue traffic congestion? That's all I have for this one.
Thank you, Ms. Hargan.
Mr. Chairman, can you, compliment for me?
Yes, so I believe if you are not on this, that means we'll be using all three of our alternates.
Correct. So Commissioner Collins.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion on the item? Commissioner Levy.
Move to approve, the zone change, and you also want a special permit and also the special permit application.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Commissioner Delgado. Commissioner Levy.
So, I mean, in terms of the zone change, I mean, this augmentation of 38 spaces, while it is a sensitive area, I think it's basically a well-designed plan, and particularly in light of the Conservation Commission's, consideration and the restrictions they've placed on it, it will not have a significant change to the area. As far as the considerations, is it consistent with the plan of conservation and development? I don't think that's really applicable here, since the Greenfield Hill area is almost exclusively AAA residential, and this is a long-standing non-conforming use. Basically, it's consistent with the plan, the reality of the plan that's existed over many years, and it's just a slight extension of that non-conforming use to address the various changes that have occurred in the neighborhood, and will serve basically, I think, a beneficial purpose. Does it address the responsible planning and contemporary future conditions? And is it needed? Yes. I think there's no question that from a safety standpoint, additional parking is needed. Anybody who's had the pleasure of eating at the restaurant there, and there's a liquor store in the Hi Ho. They in the past have had the capacity to park at the nursery and garden that was across the street. Well, that's changed since the Hartford Health Building went in, and for reasons, probably liability reasons, that option is no longer available. As one who's been by that area on a bicycle a number of times, the prospect of cars being parked in that area, which I think would happen if they're not allowed additional parking, would present a genuine safety concern. And so I think therefore the extension is warranted, and it would serve the general health, welfare, and safety of the town. Does it accomplish a smooth transition in character? It's basically not going to have a significant change, though in fact the buffer and the addition of trees, I think, will enhance the general surrounding area. And I think steps are being taken to ensure that the brook is not impacted adversely. And will it permit a level of development that would increase or undo traffic congestion? I don't think it'll have any impact on traffic, since the number of people going to the site is not likely to change. Now it's just simply they'll be able to safely park. So that basically addresses the zone change. As far as the special permit, I think a lot of that is still, basically applies as well. Does it harmonize with the neighborhood? Well, it harmonizes with the existing transition in character. Again, it's basically as is. Protect property values, I think, making the area safer, and the various buffer zones and improvements. will work to the benefit of the surrounding neighborhood.
Thank you, Commissioner Levy. Commissioner Delgado.
Nothing further. I echo the comments of Commissioner Levy.
Okay. Any other comments? Commissioner Harrison?
Yes, I thank you to Commissioner Levy for your very well-founded argument in favor of this. I will be supporting the expansion. And I think it will enhance the public safety of this neighborhood and of this restaurant and hotel and liquor store. So look forward to seeing the improvements. Thank you.
Yes. Any other comments from the commission? Commissioner Randolph?
I'm up to speed on this application. I appreciate the applicants scaling back of the driveway and, Commissioner Levy, thank you very much for your thorough and thoughtful comments. I'm very familiar with this area. Ride my bike past as well, and also being to the restaurant, and this expansion of this parking lot will, I think, improve safety as well. It's, sometimes people are gonna be tempted to park across the street, which, it's a difficult street to cross, so this will enhance safety as well as enhancing the area. Thank you.
I too concur with Commissioner Levy's comments. I think people are going to find a way to park. And so if we can give them a safe place to park, that otherwise, meets our standards, we should do that. So, okay, let's put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the zone change application and special permit, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The motion passes unanimously. Moving.
We have Commissioner Collins.
I said aye.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to our compliance applications, 1636, 1640 Old Post Road compliance application of Paul Carpenter for a change of use for a 3,603 square foot lease space to take out food service with a 318 square foot seating area for Toastique.
Do you mind just pulling up the site plan so they can just take a look at that? Or the floor plan? So just an update, I think the original, when I originally sent out the agenda, there was a narrative that indicated that a special permit was required for this use. The applicant revised that, so I don't know whether you checked the file before or after. But if you did get the one that I sent on Friday that said a special permit was required in the narrative, that is not required. So just a clarification. Section 12.2 of the zoning regulation only requires a compliance review for a change of use where no additional construction is proposed. The applicant requests a primarily takeout food service use with 20 seats within a 318 square foot seating area. The change of use is permitted within the center design district zone. Although this building has no on-site parking, the use proposed does not increase the on-site parking nonconformity and does not require a variance. Is the site plan not, the site plan wasn't attached to that narrative, huh? Okay, I have a paper one if anybody wants to look. Let's grab that real quick. Thank you. Realize the ways. I don't know if anybody wants to pass this down, but it's, that's the site plan.
What is there now? Or where is it?
Commissioner Harrison, I could take a photo and send it to you.
Nail spot.
It was a nail spile,
Thank
correct.
you.
That Papalooza next to it,
Yes.
Just flip this for 1 second.
On the other side.
It's on the north side of the street. And it's just,
near Heritage.
correct, it's just east of Heritage, correct? Yep. And it's just, it's just one of these pre-existing non-conforming buildings, and as long as it's not as long as it's not an increase in a parking demand for the property, normally we just provide an overview to the board for the change of use. And we do have on many occasion, if there's increase in a parking requirement, Usually it will go to the ZBA prior to needing to come here. But they're, based on our interpretation of what was there previously, what pre-exists in the building, we don't find that there's a parking increase for the total two tenants that are in the building today.
They'll have to come back to us for a sign review.
Nope, because there's signage pre-existing on the building. So it's only if, so last week's example, there had never been signage on the building facade before. In this case, there is a pre-existing signage that exists within the building, so we just ensure that they meet the same intent with the signage. So it's a similar type constrained by the size requirements of the zoning regulations.
Commissioner Harrison, you good? You have any questions?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you. And thanks for sending this over. Appreciate it.
Okay, can I have a motion on the item? Commissioner Delgado,
Motion to approve.
second. Commissioner Levy. Commissioner Delgado,
I think it's a fairly straightforward application and it seems to meet the requirements necessary, so.
anything further, Commissioner
Yeah, I
Levy?
mean, the proposed use, largely breakfast and lunch, it's not gonna have a significant impact on the area. Or the parking requirements, so it's inappropriate to approve the change of use.
Thank you. Any other comments? Agree. I think this is pretty straightforward. Put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the compliance application, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is 623 Reef Road, coastal site plan application of 623 Reef Road LLC to demolish an existing single-family residence and construct a FEMA compliant duplex in a residence B zone. Mr. Mullen, taking this one?
I am.
All right.
No pressure.
First one.
First one here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the commission. My name is Jonathan Mullen, Assistant Planning Director. Fairfield. Before you is coastal area management site plan for 623 Reef Road. The existing conditions, the subject parcel is located 623 Reef Road in the Residence B zoning district. The parcel is 11,969 square feet and is located on the north side of Reef Road. It's bounded on all sides. The parcel is bounded on all sides by residential parcels and contains a one-story non-elevated single-family residence. Impervious surfaces on the site include a concrete walkway that leads from the sidewalk on Reef Road to the front entrance of the building, an asphalt driveway that leads from the curb cut at the southwest corner of the lot along the western property line to a detached garage. And there is also an above-ground pool with an attached deck located in the rear yard. The remaining portion of the property is covered by lawn. The submitted site plan shows that the lot slopes slightly upward from north to south with a location of the structure being located at elevation 7+. The entire site is located in the AE 11 zone. It is approximately 900 feet from a largely tidally influenced wetland system to the south and approximately half a mile from the Long Island Sound. Please note that all flood zones in Fairfield require a 1 foot extra compliance known as freeboard. The proposal calls for the demolition of all existing structures and the construction of a new 2.5-story, 2-unit building with FEMA compliant foundation and the first habitable floor constructed at least 1 foot above the base flood elevation. In this case, it's going to be at elevation 16. The ground floor of the structure is proposed to be partially enclosed, non-livable floodable space and will be used in a combination of parking and partially enclosed porches or patio areas. The parking spaces will have garage doors on the south side, and the enclosed patios or loggia spaces will be partially enclosed by 8 foot tall by 6 foot wide openings with 1 by 5 inch slats spaced 9 inches apart. Floodwaters will be able to pass through the slatted openings as well as through a series of 10 6 foot wide by 8 foot tall openings along the north side of the building. Each unit will have access through a 98 square foot enclosed entryway with flood vents located on separate walls in compliance with FEMA and the town of Fairfield regulations. The existing driveway and curb cut will be removed, and a new curb cut and a 14-foot wide bituminous driveway will be installed at the southeast corner of the lot. The lot will be loamed and seeded with grass. Electrical meters and HVAC units will be mounted to the building at elevation 12. The applicant proposes a subsurface stormwater infiltration system consisting of 17 24-inch low-profile leaching galleys to be located on the north side of the property. The system will treat roof runoff from each of the units and the runoff from the bituminous driveway. The proposed structure will have public sewer and water service. Soil erosion and sedimentation controls are required for the development of this parcel to eliminate any construction-related impacts to the adjacent roadway. Plans show the perimeter silt fencing and silt fencing around the construction stockpile area located at the northwest corner of the site, as well as an anti-tracking pad at the southwest corner. Erosion protection and sedimentation control shall be maintained on the site throughout the construction. These measures should adequately protect all adjacent coastal resources. The DEEP Land and Water Resources Division submitted their comments to the town on June 11th, 2025. And those comments are incorporated into the recommendations as follows. Staff recommends the following conditions in approving this coastal area management plan project. 1, the architectural plan shall be in conformance with all FEMA standards. FEMA, Fairfield's flood protection and FEMA's, excuse me, let me start that one over again. The architectural plan shall be in compliance with all FEMA standards, as well as Fairfield's flood protection regulations, or section 32. Number 2, soil erosion and sediment controls shall be included on the site plan and installed and maintained entirely throughout the construction of the project on the site. And number 3, the applicant must confirm with their utility company that the electric meter is accessible and take any steps necessary to provide safe access to the meter.
Commissioner Braun?
Oh. Do we have to have a motion before I comment or ask questions?
I think you can ask questions.
Okay, so I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm reading the DEP report and just to point out a few things, which is the Coastal Site Management Act has sort of stricter or greater concerns than simply satisfying FEMA, which is basically an insurance program to protect structures. So the Coastal Management Act wants to protect life as well. So they're pointing out that sea level rise will go up by 20 inches by 2050, and that storms will get worse, and that Hurricane Sandy extended flooding beyond this by, 350 feet, and we've got to shut the streets down and everything else. So the DP report seemed more concerned about approving this. They didn't say don't approve it, but they seemed concerned that you're adding more people. Do you know how many more residents would live in this structure than live there now? Like, is it?
Well, right now it's a single family. Think of it, I think it's a salt box type style house.
Okay.
There'll be 2 units, it's a duplex, 2-unit duplex, so however many people would, 2 to 3 unit, but I don't know that
So it could go from like 4 people to 8 people or something like that?
conceivably, but I don't know.
Okay. Not a huge increase in the number of people, but they are concerned that you're adding people in harm's way. On the other hand, this whole area is very developed and surrounded by other houses. And I am a little bit relieved that it's 900 feet from a tidal wetland and it's half a mile from Long Island Sound. So I'm not that concerned about pollution entering in or anything like that. But they do suggest one other point that I don't know if it's been addressed, which is, and you can explain this. It's not clear from the submitted plans whether the applicant has provided adequate flood venting on the ground floor. Applicants should be aware they need to ensure there's enough venting for each enclosed area on the ground floor, and additional venting may be needed between partitioned rooms to allow for flow. Can you explain that and just indicate if that should be a condition of approval or if that has been incorporated to the plans?
That was not as part, I do recall reading that, they do have adequate flood venting in accordance with so enclosed structures can have no larger than a 300 square foot access area. Our access areas can't be more than 300 square feet, and you have to have your flood vents on.
What's a flood vent?
A flood vent is an opening in the structure that allows water to go in and out to provide equal conveyance, so the water pressure.
Different than the board, the thing you mentioned in the beginning?
So there's a couple of sets of openings on this house. It's actually much more open than you think. Looking at, so the whole north side of the building has openings, 6x8 openings. So that's 8 foot tall by 6 foot wide, nothing in there. And then you straight into the parking spaces. And if you think of it as, my pad is the ends of the house, the parking spaces are in the middle. The north side and the south side have enclosed porches. And then on the north side, there are there's about 10 of these 6x8 openings. So that's fairly significant amount of openings to
Is that
get.
considered venting, the openings?
I would say it's more than venting. I'd say you could drive a car through them. So I mean, that's,
You're saying on the ground floor, is the ground floor the part that has
yes.
freeboard?
I believe that
The ground floor has nobody living there, right?
nobody
I
living
could,
there.
Yeah,
I could add,
Yes, please.
sorry, that's gonna
if
go
I'm-
over. So,
Thanks for explaining that, because I'm not familiar
yeah.
with architectural terms. Yeah.
Hi, Emmeline Harrigan, Planning Director for the record. So one of the things, and I know this doesn't come up as much in conversation here because it's usually handled administratively via our zoning enforcement officers, but we have within our zoning regulations a requirement that within a FEMA flood zone, the first story of a property within a flood zone is predominantly open, so that we don't count that as a story against
Mhm.
the structure itself. So normally, that actually leads to exceeding the minimum flood venting requirements that are mandated through our regulations via FEMA requirements. So it's usually always much more than what's minimally required. It depends on the flood zone that you're located in terms of how that requirement then has to also be layered on top of like smaller size enclosures, for example, an enclosed entry up to the first elevated level. But usually that's kind of the design style that you'll see in any coastal flood zone in Fairfield, because folks don't want that first uninhabitable level counted against them. They want to achieve 2.5 stories of living area above that. So you'll see that ground floor level be predominantly open with horizontal slat work, for example. Usually the most closed elevation is the elevation facing the street. So you will have usually a more solid wall on that face with a garage door, but usually the other sides of the structure are usually slat work, lattice, sometimes completely open. So it really just depends.
So when they say it's not clear from the plans if the applicant provide adequate flood venting on the ground floor is the part that nobody lives on, right?
That's correct.
So what rooms are they talking about? I mean, my computer just died, but partition rooms, like, I don't know what they mean exactly by this.
I think it's just the access to the elevated level above.
Okay.
So they were just requesting that the town be sure and make sure that that's compliant, which I think we handled through the first condition, as John mentioned.
So, okay, so you don't feel there needs to be additional venting between partition rooms? There are no partition rooms down on the ground floor, right?
No, it's, I believe, as Dr. Harrigan said, that
Okay.
as long as if our requirement is that the architectural plans shall be in conformance with FEMA standards, should satisfy that.
And then just in terms of the number of extra people here that potentially could be in harm's way if there's another Hurricane Sandy, is it a lot of, it doesn't seem like it's a lot of extra people being added.
I think this has come up in our discussion of the POCD. I will tell you with, if you've read recent news reports about the governor's bill, SB 9, there was a lot of climate resiliency language within that bill that passed in the legislature and then was signed by the governor. The DEP is going to start getting more aggressive, I think, in their language to us about supporting what they understand to be sea level rise impacts to coastal communities. So we will start seeing more of these comments. I think we've started to see them probably within the last year, be more specific about cautioning the town to not increase density. It will be something that we'll have to look at, whether we should, reduce the ability to have duplexes in the flood zone and the B zone, but we haven't made that choice yet, and we probably need to review that with, our town attorney as to whether that constitutes a taking, whether we have to worry about what financial implications there might be, whether we can make the nexus to a public safety issue that is 20 years down the line, like how we do that. So I think that's a larger conversation to have. It's an
So-
important one for the town. But I think where our regulations are right now, they're legally allowed to have a duplex based on the
B-zone.
size of their lot.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Levy?
Yeah, memory serves on both sides of this property are existing duplexes, condominiums.
Mhm.
And it's also in proximity to Quincy Street where the town is planning to put in duplexes, correct?
Yes.
So it's,
Yep.
for better or for worse, it's in conformity with the trend.
Yes.
Thank you. Other comments, questions?
Yeah.
We get a motion on the item? Commissioner Levy?
To approve with the conditions regarding the FEMA and Fairfield flood regulations, soil erosion control, and confirming that the electric meters are accessible and sufficient height to meet the requirements.
Thank you. Could I have a second? Commissioner Delgado? Okay. Commissioner Levy?
Yeah, I mean, as it stands now, it does meet our requirements and there are duplexes going in up and down Reef Road. I know from personal experience living in the neighborhood that Hurricane Sandy actually went up to Howard Street. You could have reached this house with a kayak during Sandy. But as it stands now, there's an existing sort of cave which I don't think would survive another flood, and this one will, at least will now have a flood compliant structure there, which ostensibly might be safer. Well, with this one, with a duplex, I don't think the additional density poses a serious concern as far as health and safety, but it is something where it might well be that at a future date, we should reconsider the continued increased density in the beach area and floodplain areas. But that's for a later date when we fully examine it.
Thank you, Commissioner Levy. Commissioner Delgado?
It's in accordance with the regulations and it's contextual to what we're seeing around it.
Thank you. Other comments?
I was gonna say, thank you, Mr. Mullins, for explaining that and reassuring me. I'm also happy that this is at least 900 feet away from a tidal wetland. I don't see any reason to deny it in that it just continues the trend, but I do think we need to look at adding more density in the for our future planning. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else have comments? Okay, thank you. Let's put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the coastal site plan application, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. That brings us to our public hearing. One public hearing for this evening, zoning regulation amendment, application of 105 Byro Street LC for revision to the zoning regulations to add section 5.5 Byro Residential District to allow the construction of affordable multifamily housing pursuant to section 830G of the Connecticut General Statutes. 105 Byro Street, 300 Castle Avenue, application of 105 Byro Street LLC to establish a Byro residential district on land presently zoned Residence C. And 105 Byro Street, 300 Castle Avenue, zoning compliance application of 105 Byro Street LLC for compliance with the standards of the Byro Residential District to establish a 48-unit residential development pursuant to section 830G of the Connecticut General Statutes as shown on plans entitled The Gallery at Byro, a De Laurentiis development dated May 1st, 2025, prepared by J. Edwards Associates LLC, 227 Stepney Road, Easton, Connecticut, 06612, in a Residence C zone. Attorney Bellis, good evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I'm Attorney Steve Bellis, and I represent 105 Biro LLC, of which Eric De Laurentiis is the sole member. When we scheduled this tonight, I was to open the public hearing with some remarks. And I have Kermit, who will give you some testimony as to the traffic study. And the rest of the witnesses, we agreed would be on July 29th. I know it's gonna be so empty, but that's how things happen, so. Anyway, so 105 Biro LLC owns the property at 105 Biro Street. That LLC is the owner of that property. And 105 Biro LLC is also a contract purchaser of 300 Castle Avenue from that owner, Lee Zhang. If the properties will be merged if the affordable housing application is approved. So they're obviously adjacent to one another with now a property line dividing them, but that property line would be eliminated and it would be one property consisting of those two addresses. I think you've all heard or well aware that there have been reports that Connecticut is experiencing a housing crisis. Want me to talk a little louder?
I was gonna give you one.
Oh, okay.
I think it works.
Oh, wow.
Does it work?
I don't know.
Hello? Ah, there we go.
Okay. Does it amplify a little bit?
Yeah.
Now, we've been reading about these housing crises in the newspaper, but there's also been reports to the legislature that kind of has some statistics to back it up. Connecticut has the most constrained housing supply in the nation with only a 7% vacancy rate. According to these reports, the state needs about 110,000 more units to meet the needs of citizens in Connecticut. And there's also a report that the Connecticut housing crisis is driving away businesses because there are 70,000 positions statewide that need to be filled, and there's a lack of housing inventory, and housing affordability has led companies to leave Connecticut. Many companies have also decided against moving their headquarters to Connecticut because employees can't find or afford housing. I don't think that this is something that is so surprising or unique to Connecticut. I think it's happening all over the United States. But for some reason and I've read books on it, there's not a simple answer, put it that way. It's happening all over the US and they really can't figure out why there is this housing crisis. There's a few hypotheses, but I can't state to you that I know the answer and can tell you what the answer is, because I don't think there is one single answer. But there's no question that it is a problem. So in response to that problem, the legislature passed Connecticut General Statute 8-30G in 1990. And as our Supreme Court said in 131 Beach Road, that if an affordable housing application meets the criteria set forth in 830G, it is in the best interest of the community insofar as such developments provide fair access to housing and expand housing opportunities for the citizens of the state. The standard the commission must use is well established under 8-30G G1. If there's an appeal, you're well aware that the burden shifts. And it becomes the commission's burden based on the evidence in the record that the decision being appealed is necessary to protect substantial public interest in health, safety, or other matters which the commission may legally consider, that such public interests clearly outweigh the need for affordable housing, and such public interests cannot be protected by reasonable changes to the affordable housing development. I don't think that's been disputed. That's been the law for a while. In this case, Fairfield is not exempt from 8-30G. According to the Connecticut data, it was approximately at 3.05%. It may have ticked up with all the applications being filed. But even in the affordable plan that Fairfield has of 2022 through 2027, they acknowledge more housing units are needed and the town requires a diverse housing portfolio because quote, not everyone wants a single family detached house. the court in 131 Beach stated that the need for affordable housing in Fairfield has persisted for decades. I would just, as an aside, say Fairfield's not alone in that. I think it shares the same problem with 169 other towns in the state. In any event, this particular application was filed before the state granted the town a moratorium on 830G applications, so we're grandfathered in. Both of these lots are currently in a Residence C district. There is an existing rectory building on the 105 Biro property and a house, both of which will be demolished if the application is approved. The lot area would be approximately 18,600 square feet. So the applicant has submitted a certificate of zoning compliance application under 8-30G, seeking 48 units with 21 bedroom units and 28 two-bedroom units. There's a lobby, a gym, and a storage area. The application is a set-aside development under the 830G statute with 15 units designated as affordable, which would be deed restricted for the 40 years. There will be a garage with 2 levels. The first would be the lower level having 33 parking spaces. And the second level, I'll call it the upper level, would have 35 parking spaces. So that would be a total of 68 parking spaces for the 48 units. The applicant has submitted an affordability plan, which you're all familiar with, whereby 15 units would be at 80% AMI and 15 units would be at 60% AMI. The administrator of the plan is Mark Nolan. I've attached his resume. He's recognized by several towns as qualified to administer these 8-30G applications. We have also color coded the affordable units on the floor plan to show that they will be spaced throughout the building and will be the same quality and be available at the same time as the market rate units. We did go to code review prior to coming to see you all. And you should have the comments there online. But basically, I believe that Mr. Joseph Versteeg will testify as to the building meeting the safety codes. Kermit Hua is a traffic engineer and his report is uploaded and his testimony will be given after I finish my remarks. But basically, his testimony will be that the traffic generated from the 48 units amounts to approximately 18 trips in the morning, additional trips, and 19 additional trips in the evening. And it's in his opinion that this can be adequately and safely accommodated by the adjacent roadways. He has characterized the impact as limited. There are no wetlands on the site or within proximity. And according to the Conservation Department, Mr. Bishop has said that he has no need for us to file a wetlands application. We have submitted the will serve a letter, which you may be familiar with from Aquarion, that they give that there's sufficient water to meet the expected demands. In fact, they had very good results with 2,677 gallons per minute at 20 pounds per square inch. So there's plenty of water. Lastly, we've submitted reports from our engineer, Jason Edwards, that there is adequate capacity to handle the sewage. The WPCA is hearing the application tomorrow night, so I'll be back here and I should have the results. From what I can tell from the reports, the initial report was that it's under 80% of the pipe, the big 30-inch pipe that this eventually goes to. And then they did further analysis based on some hydraulic tests that the town wanted, and it was even lower. So I expect to have a WPCA approval for you next time we meet. We'll have Chris Hull, who's an architect, not only show you the renderings, maybe you could just throw them up on the board, Emmeline, or somebody. He'll go over the architectural aspects of the building. Mr. Randolph, maybe you can review it ahead of time, see how you feel. Are you able to get it up?
It's going.
And then Jason Edwards would be the engineer who would go over the site plan. So these are renderings from CAH, which is the architectural firm that Chris Hall works for. And they're just kind of some different views of the building, with the 2 stories being the garage and then the residential units above it, so that all the parking is contained within the building.
Sorry, it's a little like.
No, that's okay. It's just to get a flavor, that's all. We're not, we're not going through it in detail. As I said to you earlier, when I opened my remarks, all these experts are scheduled for your meeting on July 29th. In addition to a certificate of zoning compliance, we submitted a zone change and proposed text amendment. I recognize that there's no requirement for a zone change application. But the court in 131 Beach Road made it clear that the applicant is statutorily entitled to seek a change in the zone and propose a text amendment, because that's something that's required under 8-30G anyway. The court in River Bend made it clear that the text amendment is considered part of 8-30G. And I just want this commission to be clear that the text amendment only applies to 105 Biro Street and 300 Castle Avenue. It does not affect any of the other parcels in town. So it would be simply limited to these 2 particular parcels. And again, I think I've explained to you the reasoning for the zone change and text amendment. It helps if the site plan is then approved, that there's a regulation on the books that corresponds to what you approved as far as what the regulations are. For that particular site, it helps with financing, and I don't know, it's been standard practice for a long time. That doesn't mean you have to do it, but you can. So the most of the stuff has been uploaded that you need to review, including the I'm not gonna go through it. I'll let the experts do it. The site plan, all the documents I referred to, the traffic study, and so you should have all those in the record. Kermit is here this evening, so I think I'll have him testify. And if you have any questions of me now, certainly ask me. Go ahead.
So just about the affordable housing need, we've been told by our economic development director, Mr. Barnhart, who is in charge of tracking all of that, that we will never reach the 10% exemption amount for a variety of reasons. And I believe it's because the ratio is actually fatally flawed in how it was developed, because it includes things such as the use by individuals of CHAFA, down payment assistance loans, and the use by individuals of Section 8 housing vouchers, both of which are outside of our control, yet they're counted. And those are doled out to the bigger cities. Maybe like, I don't know, 80 or 90% of them go to the big cities and hardly any go to the town. So it seems that the town should not be judged harshly based on not being exempt by getting 10% of our affording housing stock of total housing stock as affordable.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head. I made the same argument to a lot of towns. I don't like to use the word impossible, but I know what you're talking about. It's nearly.
We've been told it won't happen ever.
In our
Certainly not in our
lifetimes.
lifetime.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
can't happen because
Yeah.
the law was developed.
Yeah.
I met with someone in Hartford who worked on the law like about 10 or 15 years ago, and he said they picked 10% as an arbitrary amount to carve out the big cities
Yep.
and the poor cities, because that's where most of the people that were disadvantaged lived.
But you
And
were
they didn't want
able
them
to
to be
get.
burdened with 830G. That was why they did it. So,
But you were able to get your moratorium, so
yeah, we got our moratorium.
not too many towns are even able to do that, so I give you credit for that.
I have 2 other.
But I agree with you,
Okay.
you're not alone in this problem.
And then I cannot find the code review minutes. I see something that says code review, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have the code review minutes.
I have them in my file, so I'll
Okay,
upload them.
that'd be great to
Yeah,
have them.
not a problem.
And and as far as the text amendment and the zone change, I know you're allowed to do it, but why are you doing it since it's really not needed? You don't have to follow any of our zoning regulations.
No, we do not.
You don't have to be in the right zone to build this structure. And so why is it being filed then?
Yeah, so I think the reason we do it is that I think it has to do with the banks. And the banks want to say, okay, you got this site plan approved, right? by this commission. We see that they approved it on such a date, but how did you get it approved? There's no regulation that allows it under the Fairfield zoning regulations. You know, it's not in the right zone. It doesn't have the correct setbacks. The height's no good. So why is this compliant? And it's difficult to explain to them that it's compliant because it can be done under state law and not under the town zoning regulations. And then it's like when I tell clients they form a single LLC, that you don't need a tax ID number for a single member LLC. You can use your social security number. Then they go to the bank and they say, where's your tax ID number? Attorney Bella says you don't need one. You can use a social security number. We're not allowing you to open up a bank account without a tax ID number for this LLC. It's a similar kind of problem that developers run into with banks. It's nothing to do with you people.
Banking issue that the developer might have becomes our issue.
Well, yes and no. I mean, ultimately, if you're going to approve a site plan under 8-30G, what's the harm in approving it's a zone change anyway, because it's a residence C zone and it's certainly not allowed in a residence C zone,
I
so.
guess it would change the zoning permanently, even if this structure is never built, or if it fails at some point, right? It would then become, that would be the zone that somebody could build something
Only
similar.
for this property, though.
Yeah, okay.
But actually, to that point, Ms. Harrigan, if the zone changes according to the 830G application, does the property developer decides not to build this project, sells the project, and the next owner, they don't necessarily want to build an 830G. Does the underlying zoning still apply at all, or does that go away entirely and all that's left is the 830G zoning?
No, because the zone change has been adopted.
Full zone, okay, so it's not
So-
an overlay, it's an actual
Correct.
full replace,
Yeah,
okay.
this is not an overlay. Yeah, the overlay is like the old, yeah. Yeah, well, she answered your question correctly.
Other questions for Attorney Bellis?
Minor question. I also couldn't find the cover sheet that we usually get, the application sheet. Maybe it's in there, but I couldn't.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the cover sheet that you fill out with, it's like a one pager that's signed that has,
The application, I call it, right?
yeah, I don't know where maybe it's in here, but I couldn't find it. So if that could be,
Yeah, there would have been either two, probably this, I know I filled out a application for a certificate of zoning compliance, and then I would have filled out one for the
so
zone.
it must have been
change.
filled out.
Well, it
So,
was filled out, yeah. You hand it in when you pay your money, and
okay.
I have copies if I could upload them.
And then, has any of the studies and analyses been done considering what's just been applied for on 108 Biro, which is 100 units in a 7-story building, literally almost across the road?
Which project is that? I'm
I think you were the attorney on that.
What's your,
Any of the traffic or stormwater flooding or congestion?
yeah, so that's a good question. The answer is yes, because with the WPCA, they asked that exact question. What was the flow coming out of 108 and what is the flow coming out of 105? And if you take those two together, what would the flow be? And would it be under your 80% capacity of the pipe? I don't remember the exact number, but it's 70% plus or minus. I don't.
Did the traffic analysis go that far?
I could ask Kermit then, I guess.
Okay, find out.
He's got his thumb up, so you can ask him that. But yeah, we do take that into consideration, obviously, because it's on the same street.
Thank you.
I agree with you.
Any other questions for Attorney Bellis before we go on? Commissioner Randolph, go ahead.
Question for, like, perhaps staff. There's one drawing, there's one set, that says 105 Biro Code Review PDF.
I don't think those are the minutes that she was referring to.
I don't know, but the drawings are under that title, and it's a rectangular building. And then the old plans, it's an L-shaped building.
Oh, I might be able to help.
It was prior to, so we did there was an initial code review submittal. And then they were able to acquire or at least get under contract for 300
That's correct.
Castle.
Okay.
So then they resubmitted new plans.
That is why, yeah.
So the rectangular building is the one that's being submitted, not the L-shaped building.
Yeah.
I just,
correct.
Yeah, no,
So-
I forgot to mention that. You are right. We initially came in with just this 105 Biro Street address because Eric owns that. But then he was able to get a contract to purchase the adjacent property, so we changed it. Yeah, go with the new one.
So is there code review for the new one or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the code review. I'll get you those minutes when,
Before the next meeting,
yeah.
Commissioner Libby.
And I just want to confirm this is a compliance application and not conceptual.
This is not conceptual.
Very good, thanks.
This is a full blown final, signed, sealed site plan. This is different than, Congress Street. This is application for certificate of zoning compliance. It's labeled correctly.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Shall we move on to?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. For the record, Kermit Hua, registered professional engineer in Connecticut. I'm the traffic engineer for this 105 viral development. First answer Commissioner Brown's question. Yes, the 108 was included in the background traffic for this 105 study. We use the same traffic counts as the one we used for 108. Which were collected on Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. And then were seasonally adjusted using DOT seasonal adjustment factors to convert those counts approximate, the peak summer month of 2024 conditions. And for these 48 units, as Attorney Bellis mentioned, we are estimating 18 trips for the weekday morning peak hour and 19 trips for the weekday afternoon peak hour. And we are assuming the build year when all these units are built and occupied is 2027. So that's 3 years from the 2024 counts. And we used the 0.5% background traffic growth rate in addition to the 108 trips. So that's 1.5% in total over 3 years between 2024 and 2027. For the no build and build 2027 conditions. Staff, if you pull up the level of service table. Let's zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
So overall, if you look at 2024, 2027 no build, 2027 build, all three scenarios, we essentially have the same level of service. Obviously, there will be minor changes in the underlying average delays, but in terms of the letter grade level of service, they are all the same under the three scenarios. The worst we have is level of service D for the Castle Avenue approach at the Black Rock Turnpike for the weekday afternoon peak hour. So that's the worst. Overwhelmingly, most level of service are A and B across the board at all the 4 intersections and at the 2 driveway intersections on Barrow and Castle Avenue. So the conclusion is really limited traffic impact and all the trips will be adequately and safely accommodated by the existing adjacent roadways. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Hua. Questions? No problem.
There were 2 developments on Castle Avenue. One has been built and occupied. It's on the corner of Black Rock Turnpike. It's at 525. There's another one that was approved a couple years ago that's, I don't know where it is in relation to where this road comes out, but it has not been started being built yet. It's like behind the Goodwill and the Town Fair tire stores. Has that been factored into this?
No, my answer is the same. We tried to reach out to the town staff in December.
I'm sorry, to who?
Mr. Wendt, the planning director at the time in December 2024. And, he probably was busy and we never heard back from him.
So
And
that building has not been factored in, the building we approved several years ago for Castle Ave?
no, because I did not receive the answer from Mr. Wendt.
Okay, and trip generation. It seems a little low when you have 48 units, 68 bedrooms, you'll have 70 or 80 people living there that you would only have, I don't know, 15 or 18 people leaving in the morning.
Yeah.
Is any of the trip generation data generated on site-specific or town-specific statistics?
No, I'm not aware of any data source for, just for Fairfield. I'm not aware of any.
The ITE manual for,
I used IT man,
and
correct?
that contains data that's collected nationwide by random traffic engineers that put information into the ITE, they submit it, and then, so there's nothing specific to Fairfield or this neighborhood, right?
There's nothing specific to Fairfield, no.
And do you anticipate people living here walking or driving to the train
Mostly,
station?
mostly driving, I would say, I think, even though the Black Rock, the train station is relatively close, probably like 20-minute walk, but,
A 15-minute walk,
Oh,
20
really?
minutes.
yeah,
Okay.
I was looking at the map, but there are some sort of pretty busy road, especially the traffic circle,
So you wouldn't be walking to Stop and Shop, you wouldn't be walking to the store, you wouldn't be walking to the train station, they would all be driving.
that is correct.
And the overflow parking, did you study parking overflow? How many spaces are there here and how many would you expect to overflow onto the neighboring roads?
We are proposing 68 according to the, Mr. Bellas also.
There's one per bedroom,
More than one per,
well,
for,
there's 68 bedrooms.
no, 68 spaces for 48.
Right.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
there's one per bedroom, I count
Oh, okay,
bedrooms.
I see.
I assume everyone in a bedroom is gonna have. a
I was
car.
not
That's my
aware.
assumption, based on what I know of Fairfield people, but, so overflow parking, where do you anticipate them parking?
I think, I'm not privy to the details when they came up with the 68 spaces. It seems to me 68 spaces should be adequate for these units. As you said, number of bedrooms, a single people can live in a 2-bedroom units, right? So my overall, my opinion is, the parking needs will be mostly self-contained on the site. And that does not mean, these residents, just like anyone else, if there's no restriction for on-street parking, they may be just for convenience, they can park on-street for a short duration.
Cause I've driven up and down that road when when we were looking at the prior application for 108, and there's a lot of cars that park on the road now. And I think if there's overflow parking, I would anticipate more cars parking on the road from this project, as well as maybe on Castle Ave. But then you have the other project on Castle Ave that hasn't even been built yet, and so you did not study any of that? See the impact on congestion or fire access or anything like that?
The traffic study, study the traffic congestion, so the conclusion is there will not likely to be any congestion problems, so that's the.
So your conclusion is there won't be any overflow parking?
My conclusion is then there will not be need for overflow parking because the parking will be self-contained on the site.
And is all the parking under the building?
2 levels of parking,
Two
correct?
level, and can you get into each level? You drive between the levels?
No.
So can you explain, is there a way of showing, are you the engineer that should be
No,
the civil
I'm not,
engineer? or you-
But I looked at the architectural plan, it's pretty clear, like you can enter one of the higher level, I would say 2nd level parking on Barrel and the lower level parking from Castle, right?
It'd be interesting to see that, because I'm also interested in, is all the parking enclosed within the building? There's no outside surface parking?
That is correct, there's no
So
offset.
I need to know where the EV is and also where the package delivery section is. Package drop off.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you might save that for the site plan
Engineer?
engineer.
Right,
He's a traffic engineer, but he is correct about the access way on the upper level. It goes to Pyro of the garage I'm talking about, and on the lower level, it comes out on Castle Avenue.
So you go in, so anyone going, are they assigned parking spaces for the units?
I'm not aware of that.
So if it gets filled, people are gonna drive into the lower level off Castle probably, because that's the main, that's where you come from Black Rock Turnpike. And if it's filled, they'll have to exit and then go around to Byro Street and go in that garage.
Unless, like you say, unless they're numbered, I don't know.
Yeah, if
And
it's
where
not-
will deliveries be directed to?
There's an area that has a lobby.
Both levels have.
Yeah, I think they both do, yeah. And there's a loading area.
Where's
You'd have to
that?
look
Which
at,
garage
if
is
you look
that
at, if you look in the middle, you see there, it says loading area.
Which, is that the upper level or the lower level garage?
That's the lower level.
So that's off of Castle, only in and out off of Castle, right? Is that where all deliveries are being directed or just,
I'm not sure of that. All deliveries, I'm not sure about that.
And where would like Uber and Lyft and everybody be directed? Would they be parking on the road or how do, where, is there a place dedicated for those types of services or, you know, Amazon and things like that?
I would refer to the
Yeah.
architect, let him discuss those issues.
Okay. And you don't know where the electric vehicle hookups are? Cause I think they have to have maybe,
Let's wait till,
Okay,
I
oh,
think the site
okay,
plan.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
thank you.
Commissioner Harrison and then Commissioner Randolph. Commissioner Harrison, you're on mute if you're talking. All right, let's quickly go to Commissioner Randolph. Commissioner Harrison, when your sound comes back, we'll get back to you.
Quick, Mr. Plum, thank you for your analysis. I think at our last presentation, the similar question was asked about, and I know as part of a TIS, you're supposed to factor in organic growth, other projects in the area, and then the growth from this building. And you said that you'd asked Mr. Wendt, who hasn't worked with us for quite some time, for that information. You asked him once. It would be helpful if you could update your TIS to include those factors that are normally used in a TIS, which include other approved projects in the area. So I'm just respectfully requesting that you update that.
You know, Mr. Randolph, I have no problem doing that. The problem is, you know, I've never received anything then. I never received anything after the 108 hearing. You know, I'll be more than happy to do that if I received this information from the town.
He's retired, so I don't know. if
Well,
I think that's the lady you have to address.
I understand, Ms. Harrigan, you know, became
Okay.
the new planning director, earlier this month.
Not
But
this
at the
month.
time I contacted
It's
Tom.
it's been a number of months, so.
I understand.
You were here a month ago. We asked the same question for a
We'll
different
get it. We'll-
project. So if you could just, because there's a lot of concern in the community over this project. And if you could address that question, it would be helpful.
Right.
It would be helpful.
If I receive the information, definitely, I'm just
I think he's, yeah.
chomping my bits to do this, you know, to this request, but I never received any of those information.
I think
That's what I'm saying.
Commissioner Randolph's request is that knowing that these requests are out there, you make another effort to get in touch with the current planning director.
Fair enough. I understand what he's looking for.
Hang on, sorry, Commissioner Harrison is back with us. Or I thought she was. She could text you.
Oh, wait a minute, hang on. It's my fault. Shouldn't you be able to speak now?
Can you speak now?
Yes, yes, thank you. Sorry about that. I got booted. In any case, so I am, you know, I just want to echo Commissioner Braun, Commissioner Randolph's questions about Castle Avenue. I mean, the information is pretty readily available online. And our planning director is here, as is our assistant planning director. Can you ask them right now for that information? Because I view this as an incomplete application without those factors in there.
Commissioner
I
Harrison.
mean, I'm not really sure how hard you really contacted them because it's pretty easy to find.
If I may respond to Commissioner Harrison, the thing is about this is what I'm looking for is, you know, one is number of units, two type of units, you know. And I can Google these on the past news reports or whatever. The thing is, what I want to get absolutely correct is number of the trips the traffic consultants use for those developments. I don't want to make an estimation and then submit those and people say, oh, this does not match what the traffic consultant originally submitted. That creates all kinds of problem. That's the reason I'm specifically, when I contact planning office, specifically ask for their original traffic report. You know,
I
sometimes.
think it's online. I mean, it's online. I mean, I'm looking at the agenda from, what was that, January 22? Just, you know what, I'm looking, we don't need an explanation, I think just come back with a complete application with those factors. I think that's all we really need.
I don't know, you know, I contacted the staff.
Well, you know what, again, Miss Harrigan is right there. Ask her right now for it. Easy.
Can you get that information to me in the next 2 weeks before the 29th hearing, Ms. Harrigan?
If I have your email address, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I'll do that.
Fair enough.
I'll send you my email.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Braun, go
I
ahead.
could just see that we approved in 2022, as Commissioner Harrison said, 43 unit residential development at 83 Castle Avenue. That has not been built yet. I've driven by there a number of times. I don't know what's happening, but it's about 3 blocks up.
Yeah.
So, and also we approved one recently on Tungus Hill Road, and some of those people come down this direction to go west. And so I don't know if you included that, but there's been development all over the place in this general area, so.
Okay, I need to look at their traffic report. If their traffic engineer say those traffic is not directed through Castle, I'm not gonna direct them through Castle.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Hua? Thank you, Mr. Hua.
Thank you all. See you in a couple of
So,
weeks.
so your other experts here on the 29th, and there's.
That's what we agreed to last week. We didn't know. We were trying to stagger the schedules.
Oh, I understand.
And I was. Caroline asked me to see if I can have them come on the 29th, and I said yes.
And no other comments from you?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay, given normally solicit another round of questions, but any final questions for tonight before we let Attorney Bellis go, since we're pretty early? Okay, thank you, Attorney
See you in a
Bellis.
couple of weeks.
Yes, okay, I will hold this hearing open to July 29th, and that being our last item this evening, I will adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.